Hello everyone, and welcome back to Optima, home of the Optima APAS series product group. In this video, we're going to have a closer look at the Tenders maintenance module right after this. This module allows you to define the list of tenders allowed on your GoPOS system. Enter a caption or name for the tender, and enter the prefix or currency symbol to be used when displaying or printing the currency. Let's look at each of the options available for each of the defined tenders. Open Cash Drawer 1. This option will open Cash Drawer 1 when the tender is used. Similarly, open Cash Drawer 2. This option will open Cash Drawer 2 when this tender is used. Note that if both these settings are disabled, the cash drawer may still open if Open Cash Drawer option is enabled for the user. Entry Compulsory. Select this option when an amount is required to tender the transaction. If this option is enabled and a tendered amount is not entered before pressing the tender key, an Entry Compulsory message will appear. The user must enter an amount greater than or equal to the amount due before pressing the tender key. If the amount entered is insufficient to cover the total cost, a new total will be displayed showing the word short and the remaining amount due. If the amount entered exceeds the total cost, the word change will be displayed with the change amount owed to the customer. If the overtender is not allowed option is enabled, a entry too high message will be displayed and the user must re-enter the amount tendered. For manager required, select this option if the user requires managerial rights. If the user does not have managerial rights, the pressing the tender key will display a manager required message. Managerial override may be accessed by pressing the user key and temporarily logging in as a user with managerial rights. MO will be displayed at the top of the register to indicate managerial override mode. The register will return to regular mode once the entry has been completed or the clear key has been pressed. The No Sale function, you can select this option to open the selected cash register drawer or drawers without a sale. Open Cash Drawer 1, Open Cash Drawer 2, or both of these options must be enabled for the specified cash drawer to open. The key may be pressed at any time without affecting the current transaction. Requires cash declaration. Select this option if a cash declaration is required for this currency. On GoPOS, pressing the cash declaration fix function will display the list of tenders that require cash declaration. Enter the amount followed by the times or X key and the denomination. Then press the tender. Once all amounts and denominations for all tenders have been declared, pressing the Finish Cash Declaration button will calculate the total declared and print a receipt. When setting 45 Cash Declaration Mandatory for Clerk's Report is enabled, each tender with this option enabled must be declared before the clerk will be allowed to print the clerk report. Attempting to print the report before declaring will display a mandatory cash declaration message. The clerk report will include the amount declared for each tender as well as the calculated difference between tendered and declared. Rounding. Select this option if the total transaction amount should be rounded. The type of rounding performed will be based on setting 53, cash rounding. Ask for number entry. When using this tender, a pop-up window will be displayed to allow the clerk to enter a reference number used to identify the payment. Over tender not allowed, select this option if the amount tendered cannot exceed the amount due. If the amount tendered exceeds the total due, an entry too high message is displayed, and the user must re-enter the amount tendered. Food stamp. Select this option if the tender can be used to purchase food stamp products. Using this tender will subtotal all food stamp items without tax and attempt to authorize and process the transaction. If the transaction amount is greater than the customer's online balance, the remaining transaction amount will be added to the non-food stamp balance and will be taxable. Overtendering is not allowed. Use tender adjustment. Enabling this option will trigger GoPOS to automatically calculate and apply a tender adjustment when this tender is used in a transaction. The tender adjustment is defined in setting 73, Tender Discount Surcharge, by selecting one of the discounts or surcharges defined in discount maintenance. Select the printers you want the tender to be displayed on and select the font to use when printing. To process payments electronically through debit or credit, you must link the tender to a defined payment terminal set up in hardware maintenance. Select one of the listed payment terminals from the drop-down list, or click on the Hardware Maintenance button to access the Hardware Maintenance module. For PAX terminals, an additional debit and credit option will be displayed. PAX must have a debit tender and a credit tender defined for each terminal. You may also enable or disable any of the defined endorsements set up in the endorsement maintenance module. The message lines defined for the endorsement will be printed at the bottom of the receipt whenever the tender is used. We will have a closer look at endorsements in our next video. For tenders using foreign currency, enabling the foreign currency option will display an additional data entry subsection allowing you to further define the foreign currency tender options. This allows you to enter the current foreign currency exchange rate as well as the number of decimal digits to be used. The multiply by rate option should be enabled if the entered rate should be multiplied. The print conversion rate option will determine if the conversion rate should be printed on the receipt. You may also define the tender to use when displaying change for whole numbers, as well as fractions. Select this if the same tender should be used. That is it for tenders, but stay tuned, and we will look at the endorsement module and linking these endorsements to your tenders.
But why don't you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notified as soon as we upload any new videos. Also, if you want to learn more about the Optima APOS series line of products or need any POS accessories such as barcode scanners, printers, Windows PC POS terminals, and more, visit www.optimagopos.ca. Again, that's www.optimagopos.ca. I'm Brandon from Optima, and I'll see you again.